All right, hello everyone. So today I'm going to cover some bug fixes that I ran into, or bugs that I ran into, and how I fixed them. And it was actually just in time as I was trying to start this stream. I was like, I should try to build an actual cooked version again to make sure it works. And it doesn't, it crashes. So I'm getting exception access violation reading a null pointer in connect. So the issue I was having earlier was in my menu level. Let's open the level print real quick. I was able to load, so I was kind of skipping the load menu. I was just making sure that I could spawn the characters properly in a cooked version of the game, like a proper build version. And it turns out I couldn't. I was getting, for some reason, this character spawner was null, or the world was null, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on because it works fine in the editor. Switched to the build version, and it just wouldn't show up. So yeah, that was kind of weird. And it took me a while to figure out that I was spawning the actors in the wrong place. So inside of game instance, no. Character spawner, no. Game mode. I switched game modes too, so now I have two different game modes, one for the menu and then one for the actual game. But before I was doing it in, what was it? It was game mode, like begin play or something. And for some reason, the world wasn't there. The world wasn't there when I was doing get world. And the reason was I was doing get world from the character spawner. And inside the character spawner, I've fixed it now. So with U objects, they don't really have access to the world. You need to get it from an actor. An actor that is not null should have access to the world. So what I ended up doing was changing from trying to get world from G-Engine or whatever to getting it from the owner that I pass in to the spawn actor, which is, I believe, usually game mode or game mode base or whatever. So that took me a little while to figure out, but what I still do not understand is why it ever worked. It must have been some weird timing issue that the world just happened to be available and I could grab a reference to it and then call it. But yeah, once I baked the image, baked the build, it was not happy about it. So I gave up on that and it was crashing. So yes, if you are going to spawn characters, get the world from an actor, unless it is an actor, and then get world should return a proper world instance or reference. So that does not help me with my problem today, which is when I go to launch a build of this, if I do launch, it's going to build the executable. Let's see, it's deploying it. Move my mic a little closer. So yeah, I'm just getting a null pointer and I didn't know why. And then I looked at the actual location. It was that connect call, and that connect call is from the WebSocket stuff. And I remember a long time ago when I was trying to get WebSockets to work, I found some random post where this guy's like, yeah, it seems to work in the editor, but it doesn't work when we build the game, which sounds very, very similar to what the issue I'm having now. Luckily, I found that post again, so it looks like there's someone already solved it, supposedly. I'm going to try this out right now after I show you the crash. But it looks like you need to include the modules manager and then basically force load it. And then once you force load it, then you should be able to reference the module and get it. So why is this taking so long? I already built it like 2 seconds ago. Come on. What did it do? Did it load? Oh, it already did load. Okay. That was weird. Whoa, that's not what I want. So I need to put in my server address. Get rid of everything here. Fatal error. So that's not cool. But yeah, let's try this fix to see if it works. I think I want to load it in the constructor, but I don't know if it's going to let me do that. So we're going to try constructor first for loading the module, and if not, we'll do it somewhere else. So that will be in game instance.c++, and we need to include that module manager. Whoop, don't want to do that. Where'd that post go? Right, include modules, module manager. And then we need to load it. If not, fix this stuff and load the module. So now we should have a proper loaded module. Let's run a build real quick. Fortunately, oh man, it's gonna have to rebuild. It's gonna take forever. Yeah, I don't know how long this is gonna take. What else can I talk about while we wait for this to load? What else have I gotten done? Oh, I got a lot done actually. I got the spawning mostly working. There's one thing I'll demonstrate that I need to fix. All right, that only took 20 seconds, not bad. What if we build this? Please don't rebuild everything. Please don't rebuild everything. Please. I should probably have done a check on that load just in case. Although, if it crashes, I'm gonna have to fix it no matter what anyways. All right, so yeah, I got the game instance. I moved those menus, game modes. So one game mode for the menu and one game mode for the actual game. And the game mode now is going to be starting the match and doing a bunch of checks, and I'll cover all this in its own section in a second here. But yeah, that cleaned up a bit because I was worried like, oh, do I have to check what level I'm in? And then depending if I'm in the menu or that, I'm like, wait a minute, no, you don't do that. You use game modes depending on the level, and then you can override them in the world details. Or so I'm gonna have the default game mode be set to the battle one, and then the menu one will override in its world details what it's supposed to be doing. Oh, did it launch? Cool. All right, please work, please work. I really don't feel like debugging this. Oh, thank God. So we got that kind of working. What is that thing? That looks like a billboard actor that should not be there. Anyways, so yeah, we got our little menu system. This all works now, which I will demonstrate now. Yeah, let's see where I got to. So one thing, two things. Always, as you're developing, click launch, do a proper build, see if it actually works, because there's definitely inconsistencies between when things will work in the Pi versus an actual build of the game. So yeah, definitely lesson learned there. And the other one is, I'll cover the hit tracing, but getting hit tracing to work took me like 3 hours. And I'm pretty sure after about an hour and a half, I had it working, but I was never restarting my editor. So what I suspect happened is it failed to hot reload some stuff, because it's not perfect. There's definitely issues where it will not reload properly. And yeah, I reloaded my editor and all of a sudden everything worked and I didn't change anything. So always so those are the two things. One, testing the build, and then two, always reload the editor if something's not working and you can't figure out why. So let's play. So I'm going to have 2 players, so it's going to spawn 2 instances. I think, yeah, my server should be up because it was just connected. Where's my server at? There's my server. I don't need you anymore. So we have our server just listening, doing its thing. So we are going to hit play after I copy this again. Right, so we're going to enter server address, connect, create group, select character, enter queue. And then this one, connect, create group, select, enter queue. And there we go, except one huge problem. The meshes are enormous compared to my 1 meter cube. So these are 1 meter. I don't know why these are so big. It's very strange, but I'm going to, one thing after I cover what I've done is add to the CSV files a vector for scaling, an F vector, so we can scale these down a bit per mesh or per character, because only these 2 are like ridiculous. The other one was not so bad. Like if you eject, oh, why did they move over there? That was weird. And if you scale this down to like 0.2 and this bad boy to like 0.8 and this guy down to 0.2. Oh, this guy needs to get scaled down too. 0.2. 8. That looks a little bit more reasonable. So yeah, we're going to throw those into the data tables, data tables, and so it automatically scales them when it spawns. But yeah, it's looking pretty good there. Oh, another thing that I did get working was I set up the inputs. So this is a custom player or custom pawn now, so I can zoom in and out, and I'll cover how I did that too. So yeah, it kind of locks you to this one view. You can't really rotate or anything. And when you click on stuff, you can tell what it is. If you can see in the top corner here, it's going to be really small text, but you can see that it clicked an actor, and it'll tell me what it is, which is super important for creating paths in pretty much the entire game. So we'll cover that as well. Yes. Okay, let's start. Game. Let's walk through. It took me a while to come up with the kind of design for this because I'm kind of jamming in my networking stuff on top of Unreal's networking structure or architecture, and it doesn't fit very well. So there's a lot of like the replication stuff doesn't matter to me, but there's certain classes that look like they hold data that I want, or yeah, data that I'm going to want to have, like game state, for example. This is usually used for like replication and stuff, so the server would have the game state and all that jazz, but I don't really need to use it for replication, but it still kind of fits, so I'm going to just reuse it for storing state for the level. Game mode, I had to change from a game mode base to a game mode because game mode base does not have like start match, which this game is very much like a match-based system, so it would make sense to have a proper game mode. So yeah, I switched to that as well. Yeah, for the, let's cover, what time is it? 9:42. Let's cover the player input first. So player input is a little bit weird. Like if you were thinking back to when I was doing this in, what was it? Phaser. It was very straightforward. I would just have the character, the inputs, or whatever, or just do it directly to the level. But with Unreal, you have pawns, you have player controllers, you have characters, and I'm not really using a character, so I'm just going to use a pawn. So my pawn is just this floaty thing. So for the pawn, all I really need to do is set up the player input and then have kind of settings for like how fast I want it to move, the zoom amount, the maximum amount you can zoom in and out, and then I had to set up the bindings. So with the pawn, we auto-possess the player because we're only going to have one. We set up a root component, which is going, and then we add our camera component as well, and we set some default information for that. Then on tick, we are going to basically determine via the axis if we need to be moving somewhere. So when you set up a player input component, you first have to bind the keys. And if you go to the world settings, or no, project settings. Oh man, it's going to be super tiny, isn't it? Project settings. Yep, super tiny. Let's magnify. And if you go to the inputs, we're going to zoom
desktop.
Nope, not going to press play. That was weird. Zoom in. So yeah, actually, I'm going to do one more. Whoa, moves so fast. Oh my god. I'm going to slow down my mouse here. There we go. Zoom in is going to be mouse wheel down, zoom out is mouse wheel up, and those are action mappings, not axis. So axis is going to be a scale from 1 to -1, and then action mappings are just pressed and released. So it's a little bit different in how those work. And then also I have left mouse clicked and right mouse clicked for clicking on actors and stuff. So axis mapping, yeah, you just set up these keys. I'm going to have to add mobile touch, like pinch and zoom stuff as well. When I did a mobile game last time, like 6 years ago or something, I had to do everything manually. I don't know if it's any better these days, but you had to like calculate the pinching and the touch inputs, and it was not fun. So hopefully they made it a little bit easier with a 4.7, but who knows, or 4 point whatever version. I don't even remember what I'm on. Doesn't matter. Okay, so that's how we set up the mappings. We go back to our player pawn. Where was I? Yep. Right. So you basically just read in these values, you clamp it, and then you multiply it by the speed that you want it at. And then inside of the actual tick is where you take the velocity, because that's updating the current velocity of the X and Y. And then you just set the new location with the velocity times the time. And then you call set actor location. So that works for, I think all of them, because I think I set the Z. I think I just add for zooming in. Yeah. So I set a new location, I zoom in and out, I clamp it to the max and min, and then I set the, so I do not call it for that. Right. Okay, so tick only works for X and Y, the axis mappings. The other one, zooming in and out, I just use a new location and then just add to it and then calculate from there. So that is how the input works, and then left mouse clicked and right mouse clicked. Doesn't get handled in the pawn because the player controller has a bunch of methods for detecting hits. So when a couple things you need to enable. One is showing the mouse cursor. The other one is enabling click events, and I'm going to have mouse over because it's going to show paths and stuff. So you need to add that in your constructor. This one isn't called yet, but I figure when you have menus, actually, the other game that I wrote, I took this from, I probably don't need this because that game would hide the mouse cursor, whereas this game, basically when you set up a menu, in-game menu, you'd want to enable the cursor, and then when you get out of the menu, you'd want to disable the cursor. But this game is always going to have a cursor because it's a very clicky-based game. But so how do we register click events? Like, how can we detect if we're clicking on something? And that works by two things. One, you have to set a collision channel. I'm using ECC visibility because it's from an example that I had. And then you pass it in a fHit result, which will get all the details filled in. If it did get a component on hit, it'll give you the name. In this case, I'm checking if it's the floor or stealth. And then I'm getting an instance static mesh component. And then from that mesh component, I am getting the instances overlapping a sphere of a very tiny value, so I can only try to get that one. But what I did notice is even if we load the level, yeah, this one, hit play. Oh, I don't need to, hold on. Number of players, 1. That's still 2. 1. Play. If I hit right on this line, you can see it got an instance count of 2. So yeah, it's not exact. Even here I'm getting 2. But if I click here, it's 1, which is proper. So it's a little bit janky. I don't know if there's a better way to make it more accurate. Or maybe it's even, no, that shouldn't be clicking through it. Because it should be blocking it on hit. But, so that's the first part of it, is the actual clicking on the instance or getting the components. The other one is getting an actor. So in this case, I'm getting a battle level, which I'll probably need access to. Right here is just for testing, like, is this tile walkable? It should return no. But that works for that part, but I think I need to enable in the level itself, the battle level. When I create the instance static mesh, do I need to add something to it? Set mobility, register, nope. I guess I didn't. I thought I had to set, oh wait a minute, I'm not there yet. I thought I had to enable, oh, set notify rigid body collisions. So I thought I had to do this, but it's weird because I only did it on these 2, and yet when I clicked in the viewer here, like if I hit play, I'm getting the hits for the wall components and the fence components, which I did not enable rigid body for. And rigid body is, if you look at this, and I'm going to magnify again, and we go down to not collision, relevant, where is it? Oh, I think I have to click on the actual instance component. Let's click on floor. There should be a simulation generates hits events. So one annoying thing about Unreal is these settings names do not match the code. So that can get really confusing, because if you try to search for like simulation generate hits events on this object or actor, and it ends up being set notify rigid body collisions, like that doesn't help me. Now I need to go find that out. Luckily the internet exists and people have figured this out for you. So yeah, again, I don't even know if I need this because, oh, no, yeah, like I'm only, like the unwalkables, I can still click on them, but I never set the collision object type or the notify stuff, but I can still click on them. I don't know. Maybe it's not important. Maybe if I wanted different collision channels, this would be necessary. I don't know. But whatever, it works now. I can click on stuff. That's all I wanted. But again, when I was going through this, it was working I mean, the code is exactly the same. It didn't work for an hour and a half until I shut down my editor, restarted it, and then all of a sudden everything started to work again. So yes, definitely close down your editor every once in a while because hot reload's not perfect. So that's how we got that working. So we have clicks, we have, spawn stuff. So let's take a look at the architecture I've kind of gone for here. So our game instance, as a reminder, holds our socket. It holds the message passing of the socket. It loads our menu. It handles the incoming messages. So this is going to be the kind of the central hub of the game, is passing on these messages to who needs it. So before I had this very simple object called like a uGroup manager, and I changed it to uGroup session manager, because when you load a new level using uGame statics OpenLevel, you can pass it a text reference to the map that you want, but you can't really pass data to it. So I needed my game mode to know what level was loaded, what the character data was, the team data, the loaded team data, and basically all this information to actually set up the game. That doesn't exist, and I don't feel comfortable getting a reference to the game world from here yet, because I don't know if this is an asynchronous operation, if it's like open level and then it returns and the levels or the map is ready and the game mode is ready. I don't know that. So what I did instead is I kind of took this group session object and I'm giving it the game load state. This load state has the spawn points, the characters, all the stuff that's necessary to start the game. It's just an fgame message that's coming in. So now we make sure on the game load event that comes in from the server, we get the world and we open it up, and then it seamlessly transitions to the new map, which works just fine. There's other types of doing it. There's world server travel, which you have to like pass in a reference to the map, and it's more for multiplayer games, so that if everybody's connected to a server, the server travel will tell all the clients to load over as well. And again, although it is a multiplayer game, we are not using their multiplayer stuff, so it doesn't make sense to have that. So OpenLevel seems to be what I wanted to do here. So group session, that is a new class object under session. This one handles initializing the group ID. So when you click create group, it gives you a group ID. It sets the load state, and then it parses the load state into a custom struct that's just easier to work with, that has the team data, opposing team data, and the spawn data. And then there's a bunch of just little helper methods for like, so when it sets it, it iterates over. If the team data is the same as my team, then add it to my team data. If it's different, then add it to the opposing team. getting characters, very similar, just create a T array of inits, integers, and then return that. And then getting spawn point for character creates a new U.2D, because I'm, again, working in U.2Ds, not Unreal's F vectors and transforms. So that's how we get our spawn points. And that's pretty much the group session manager. And I'm going to add other stuff to this as well, especially for disconnects and reconnects and resending state and all that other stuff. We'll go here, and then the game instance loads the map, and then the game mode on start match gets a reference to the world. We can call get game instance pretty much anywhere, and it will return the casted version, which is the one we want of ours. As long as that works, we then set our current level. So the game mode is going to have a reference to the current level, so I can look up things easier. And then we get an instance of the session manager from our game instance, and then we call spawn characters for match. And it iterates over the character IDs, and then we get the spawn point for characters. We have a U.2D, so then we need to translate that .2D to world, and then we spawn the character, much like we did with the blueprint or the other method. So .2D to world, the way that I calculated this is we take the wall mesh, which is actually the same as the floor mesh. It should probably be floor mesh, but whatever. This is in the A battle level again. We get the bounding box, so the size of it, the X, Y, and Z dimensions of that, and we actually have to invert the Y-axis and the X-axis, because if you remember with the phaser, the map was like this, and now it's like this. So basically by flipping the X and Y coordinates, we can spawn them in the correct locations, and we can translate between the world and the points. And then the same for world to .2D, very similar. So now I can spawn in the right place, but as you may have noticed, another thing I got to work was the, I don't think I really showed that. I'm gonna do this again. Oh yeah, look at that. You can see my little particle effects. So those, go back to this. These are my little particle effects for the stealth points. It's still not perfect. I kind of left it where I left off the other time, but now it actually spawns them in the proper location. And the way I did that, first I screwed up and I put the particle system inside of the draw method, which is called from a constructor. And if you look at the C++ documentation for, what was it, Niagara function library, spawn system at location. Actually, I wonder if I can, it's not gonna let me do it. Let's just go to Google. I'm pretty sure it says in the documentation, do not do this from a constructor. Okay, this one doesn't say it. It says it somewhere. Trust me. Don't do it in your constructor, because what it ended up doing is when it constructed, it would create many of them, and I was setting the world location, I was changing it, and it was spawning them all along, and it just like, I had like 2 frames per second because there's a million spawn emitters. So what I'm doing now is in the begin play, then I spawn the FX by iterating over the height, the width of the map, getting the tile. If it has a stealth point, we get a vector, again using the wall X, Y, and Z coordinates, and then just spawning at this StealthFX, which is set in the blueprint. We look back at this, and we go to our blueprint, StealthFX Stealth. So I should probably stop this. So yeah, over there. So yeah, spawning those things works just fine. And I'm trying to think of other cool effects that I can add without it being too much, but looking at the way Atlas Reactor did it, there's a lot of effects when you like mouse over, it'll create this nice little kind of translucent column to highlight where you want to move and stuff. So I'll probably just do something like that. That should be enough. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So spawning stuff works. Everything works so far. It works in a build, which is good. I think the next thing is to get that scaling to work. So what I'm going to do for that, I want to change it So we need to update the CSV files. Just in data, I think it's just characters. So mesh material, let's just make sure these are the same. This is the server. Oh, right, yeah. Doesn't look pretty because this is Windows and the other one is my virtual WSL stuff. But I think for getting vectors to work, first I need to update the struct. So as a refresher, loading CSV files for data tables requires a struct that inherits from ftable row base. I do not need ability data, I need character data. So we need to add a U property, just copy this. And we need to add a f vector of scale. And that's pretty much all I need to do. Make sure I'm not running. I'm not. Okay, so build that. And just to make sure that everything is nice, I'm going to modify this one, which means I also need to modify my server. And this is absolutely the downside of having two different languages. I can actually ignore this. Scale. I'm just going to say it's a string. And if I remember correctly, I should just need to string it by putting in like this. I don't think I need parentheses, but I think that's annoying. I think I just need to do like 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Oh, that one, sorry, that one was not. That was like 0.8. The broken ones are really big for some stupid reason. And then this, yeah, this is the same. And then this is going to be 0.2. For all of them. Actually, yeah, let's copy this. Do a little magic here. And then paste. Okay. So let's make sure the server still builds. It's not going to yell at me for changing the structure. Yep, cool, still works. Copy this, and I should definitely have a script automatically copy this over on build characters. Copy that over, rebuild. Actually, no, I don't need to rebuild, I already built. What I do need to do is re-import the data table. Characters, data, dt characters, re-import. Cannot find property for column scale and struct. Did I not rebuild? Successfully report. I might. Maybe I do need the parentheses. Oh, I'm just going to get here working and then I'll copy it back the other way. That doesn't seem right. I don't think I need to do that. Okay, let's just try it. Oh, what am I doing? We'll replace all of them in a second here. Find that. Don't use regexes. Just do normal stuff. All right. Let's try that. Re-import. Oh, scale and struct, not. The problem wasn't that. It was the structure. Let's recompile. And if that doesn't work, shutting down the editor because I'm not. Oh, incorrect type specified for data table. Does it need to be a reference? I bet it needs to be a reference. Let's try. Let's close everything else. F-vector. Yeah. Yeah, but it should already be. All right, whatever. Rebuild. I wonder if I have to do some weird stuff for this. Oops, scale reference type. Yeah, I didn't like that. While compiling class template member function, bool, blah, 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 copy. Oh, function was, whoa, whoa. Yep, that's good old C++ errors. Compile generate abstract character data here. It should be a pointer, is it? Does it need to be a pointer? That'd be crazy. Maybe it does. No, inappropriate on variable of type f vector. Cannot have an exposed pointer to this type. So you don't like references, you don't like pointers, or you do. Maybe it's just a reload issue. Yeah, I think I was just had to reload the editor. Let's do that. Once this completes. Good. We're good. Battleometry. Yep. Don't need that anymore. Okay, so I'm wondering now if those parentheses are going to cause it to throw up. Let's get rid of them. And yeah, whatever. I'm just going to do this. Please tell me you like it. I'm not even seeing that column there. Row type hot reload. Why do you hate me? What happens if I make a new one? Data table. Where are you? Pick row struct. ET test. That one has it. Okay. I hate deleting stuff. And do I want to delete this? Why aren't you showing up here, man? Data table details. Why is it? Oh, can I retarget maybe? File. Asset. Re-import. I really don't like deleting stuff because then it'll script a bunch of references, I think. But it's looking like I have to. So, yep. Right now, it's totally gonna crash. That's why I didn't want to delete it. I wonder. Because I'm pretty sure my instance loads that. I might have to disable loading it so it doesn't have a reference before I can delete it. Oh, what was it? Character data. As in base character. It's character spawner. Oh man. This might not be fun. Also, I have two editors open. What is going on? Maybe that's why I crashed. Characters. Data. Ooh, following tables are missing the row structure will not be editable. Do you want to open these? Yes. Maybe I didn't want to do that. Okay, hold on. I'm going to... Do I have to rename this? Alright, whatever. Character data, okay. DT characters 2. Delete this. Replace reference to characters 2. Yes. Assets below were in the root set, and we must remove that flag in order to proceed. Being in the root set means that this was loaded at startup and is meant to remain in memory during gameplay. Yep. It's probably gonna crash again. No, it didn't crash. Cool. Alright, not gonna rename this without... Ooh. Okay, I'm going to import this again, get this one all working. Characters, yep. Re-import. Okay, so it does now, it's complaining. Missing parentheses. Oh, thank you. Thank you for having proper messages. Good UX, right there. It tells you exactly what you did wrong. Alright. Copy, you bad boys. Stop doing regexes. 0.2 replace. Save that. Re-import. Missing opening parentheses. Are you not listening to me? Remove. Oh, maybe it needs, no, re-import should re-import. That's the whole point. Did I, oh, was I in the wrong one? I was totally in the wrong one. Again, the downsides of having two different languages in repositories. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. Why is it all zeros? Oh, it needs to be in that format, x0. Is that right? Let's just appease it. I wonder if it needs... Let's replace that with these. I'm going to make it look like it looks like in the editor. I don't think I need the XYs, but I am in the other one again. Jesus. Also, this is really ugly. Just chucking data around. Re-import. Missing open parentheses. Why are you looking like... Okay, I take back that thing I said about good UX because this is really stupid. Alright. I don't feel like messing around with this. F data table F vector v4. Just trying to find an example here real quick. F vector. This is probably not what I want. Also, this is in Japanese, so if you don't read Japanese, I apologize. So for F data table. Oh, it doesn't even have it. All right, whatever. You're not going to have an example. Oh, maybe their documents has it. Of course it doesn't. Don't want curves. Oh my god. You know, just for funsies, I am going to just do one character. Move that over there. And I'm going to try two things. No, let's do it here. X, Y, Z. And then re-import. It's still 0. It's not yelling at me, but it's not giving me the right value. What if I put this to like 1? Is it not reading the float? It's not reading it at all. What if I export this? Can I export? If I copy this. Really? That's what you wanted? Why would you show it like this if this is what you expect? Killing me. Okay. Let's do that. Where's my X is equal to? Y is equal to? Z is equal to? Re-import. Well. I hate floats so much, and this is why. God forbid you take 0.8, it has to be 0.07999999. Whatever, see, that'll work. That's what I want. So now, I copied all this back. Yep. Oh, Jesus. Let's just replace them here. This one I'm just going to reset back to this. The other one's all copy and paste. X is equal to 0.2, Y is equal to 0.2, and Z is equal to 0.2. Chuck you in there. No dupes. Make sure it loads. And now we have all of our stuff. Cool. So that's how you get a F vector into a data table. Now we know. Can I rename this yet? Because 2 is stupid. Oh, damn it. All right. What if I restart my editor again? Save. I really don't want to have characters too. That's stupid. Right, load that back up, and then we need to modify the way we spawn to take into account. Oh, also I want to replace this before I forget. Okay, server should be done. Now, going back to our character spawner, it needs character to spawn, name, location. So the location also needs to set, that's an F transform. So then the scale rotation dot scale pointer. Nope. How do I set just the scale? Get scaled. Rotator. Why do they change the names of these? It's not rotator, is it? No, it's an F rotator. Transform F vector. Transform. Why can't I just set the scale of this? Back to Google. F. It's not an F vector. It is a transform. Transform set scale. Yep. Scale, rotation, and translation. Transformation of position vectors applied in order of scale, blah, blah, blah. Scale 3D. How did I miss that? Dot scale 3D. Why can I only get it? I probably have to create a new. Probably have to create a new one. Oh yeah, because it's constant. All right. Character location. Character location dot scale. Set. Oh no, set. Location dot location. I think I can set that to empty. Or actually, can I just set this to equal to location? And then location, character location, scale 3D is equal to character dot scale. I don't know if that's yelling at me on purpose or not. Let's find out. And I suspect it is not letting me do that. Whatever. Build, find out. No, it was definitely not letting me do that. Error. Scale 3D cannot access protected member declared in class of transform. Oh my god. Why? Can I set scale? How about that? Well, it builds. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. Oh, can I rename this yet? So that sucks. There is a reference to it. I think I can do like rewriting or something to references. Whatever. Well, nope. I kind of need that name. Damn it. Bah. Active class redirects. That's for classes. I don't know if you can rename assets that way. What if what if I delete the binaries? Scorched earth approach. Let's try that. Delete. And I'll just rebuild the whole thing. That was way too quick. It should have rebuilt everything. Huh. I bet it's in here. Die, you son of a... do I delete it? Yeah, I probably don't want to do this. I'm going to just rename it. See what happens. Nope. Dot. Oh, this is going to hate me. I don't think this is going to work. Good Lord. This is probably going to break everything. Yeah. Default property warnings and errors. CDO constructor failed to find data table characters data. Oh, maybe that's... Maybe if I can just reset the reference. Failed to load... Oh, characters 2. Right. Why are you still there? What the hell? Okay, we are going to pretend that never happened. This will go back to being 2. This is why I didn't delete it. I'll just rename it to something else like character data. Yeah, and then live with the stupidity of it. Okay. Oh my god, I almost had time here. Anyways, I want to get this working. We will get this working. It's got our data. Cool. Save. Now, guys. All right. Character data. And I need to figure out where I was referencing that in the code, because I'm pretty sure I was. DT characters. Character spawner. There it is. Copy reference. I think I just did that, but whatever. And what the hell is this? Oh, cooker order. Yeah, I don't care about that. Okay, fingers crossed. Compile. Start 2 clients. Server is running. Set this to 2. Get our server address, which I closed like a dummy. Nope. Here. Press play. Fill in our deets. Oh my word. I need to... Because the cameras, they were very big and the camera was this way. Now they're really tiny, so they look ridiculous. I will fix it afterwards. Enter Q. Let's... More importantly, does it look good in the game? It does. They're properly scaled. That guy looks... That dude don't look right. Oh god, do I need to put in a rotation too? I will do that later. But I think this is a good place to stop for today. So at least I got one thing in, other than fixing bugs. But yes, I will get that in. So next, now it tells me when I clicked, does it tell me the actor name? Character mesh, base character 1, 0. All right, so when I click on them, it's going to activate them, hopefully have like a highlight effect. I still need to build a HUD so that you can have the character abilities and then a little picture of the character and health information and all that stuff. That's going to be another whole process. But then I really want to get the like select character, right click to move, pathing stuff, because I wanted to get the spline actors and then the mesh to show up there. But that will have to be another day. Anyways, making progress, slow but surely. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I am out.